Hi, very warm welcome to you, and good afternoon. It's Dean from maverickstar Observatory. Guys, we have 9 months left. Just 9 more months. Now, I have put the measuring tool up there, but what we've got to bear in mind is there's probably another 5.1 miles to come off this, or maybe 5.2. We will find out exactly what that number is in just 3 days' time when we do the latest magnetic North Pole position and we take the SD cards out of the Climatic system. But if the past 6, 7 months, 8 months are anything to go by, it's looking like that is likely. We have another 5 months to come off that 51 miles, which is left to that 40 degree mark. And you know, it's like that film again. I say time and time again, it's like that film Don't Look Up. The majority of the inhabitants on this earth are completely walking blind into this event. If this event turns out to be as the experiments concluded, then we could see some extraordinary, dramatic, climatic changes taking place in just 9 months' time. We cross that boundary where the experiment showed us when we leave the strong field lines, which allows a slow migrating North Pole. At that point of that boundary, it leaves those strong field lines and enters the weak field lines and accelerates. If anything, going back to the 1990s, what we've been seeing slowly take place on our planet with regards to the climate altering as a result of cosmic rays going into the upper atmosphere, allowing more cosmic rays through our primary protective shield, the magnetosphere. You know, as a result, them particles end up being seeding platforms for water to condense on. And as a result, we have massive superjet streams which are fragmenting because they are loaded down with water vapour. And that's what we've been watching gradually become more and more of an issue. And what we've seen now is not just fragmenting of the polar jet streams mixing with the subtropical jet streams, which is resulting in these flash floods that we see. Just if you have 5 minutes after this video, just type in floods, do a Google search, and you'll see what's been going on, you know, over the last week with regards to the severe floods. Just to name one, over the last couple of days, Italy in Europe. You know, if we have seen a slow progression in the magnitude of these floods getting worse over the last 30 years, and this 40 degree mark turns out to be correct, which was based on the experiments we've done, as I've shown you in previous videos recently, then we could see an acceleration of these climatic events that we've witnessed over the last 30 years become increased in magnitude as well as frequency. Not only that, when that pole goes into those weak field lines, the magnetosphere should dramatically reduce, because that is the nature of the business of a magnetic pole reversal. When it takes place, the magnetosphere collapses probably to 5-10% instead of what it is right now, 80%. We've already lost 20% of our magnetosphere, our primary shield. On top of this, we have the grand solar minimum, which is shrinking the heliosphere, which is our secondary protective field from cosmic rays entering our solar system. Not so much as a murmur from mainstream organisations with regards to this. And I just hope I'm wrong. Because if we get to that 40 degree mark and things start to rapidly occur, it won't just be cancer rates that are on a rapid increase, it will be cardiac arrhythmias across the biodiversity of our planet. Do you understand? It will not just affect human beings. And if we are so unlucky to have a moderate X-class flare, we could see the grids go down. Another issue is that our governments haven't prepared for even such a thing as grids going down. It will pop every transformer that transports electricity across the grid, and there isn't a backup for every transformer that would need to be replaced. So if the grid went down as a result of a minor coronal mass ejection, it could be months, maybe even years before electricity is restored to those residents. And by then it could be too late, because we know when the grid goes down, the logistics of any Western or Eastern, doesn't matter, country collapses. That means no fuel, no sewerage in and out of cities, no food getting into the cities, regardless of the pressures that will be added to the food productive industries. The agricultural industries will suffer as a result, because they will be even more so less fertilizers than what is now. We are already taking a pinch on the fertilizers right now because of the energy costs that have increased. It has a knock-on effect all the way down the line, and that is why I say we are entering a point now where it is going to be knocking on all of our doors. We can't avoid what is going to happen. We can prepare. You know, it's your family's loved ones. You know, it's your loved ones. It's your family. It's your neighbours. It's your community. You know, do what you can, because the time is short. We have 9 months left. I can't believe the complacency right now with these mainstream organisations. I would personally be told of a possible issue on the horizon than to walk blindly into it. I know for a lot of people, they don't want to know whether something bad is looming ahead in the near future, because for those individuals it is as uncomfortable as having their duvets pulled off them whilst they're fast asleep in their beds at night. It is that uncomfortable to know that there is a possible global catastrophe looming. And if for the reasons why these mainstream organisations aren't coming out and notifying people of this, you know, if the reasons are because they're afraid of losing credibility, well, I think that you know, I think it would be better to have a little dent in their egos if they get it wrong than to not pre-warn people and have them prepare for these events. We have over the years seen some organisations and even directors of these organisations, and I'm going to mention NASA because the director of NASA came out and told people that they should be prepared. They should have some storages of food set aside. But you know what the main thing was about that warning he gave? He didn't say what we should be preparing for. None of these other organisations, NOAA, NASA, British Geological Survey, the Canadian Geological Survey, none of them, or even the European Space Agency, none of them have came out and even give an inclination that something could be occurring in a little time as 9 months. When this can affect so much, you would think that there would be at least a mention of it and a mention of some of the possible outcomes, because none of this what I'm talking about now, if you knew a little bit about this subject, you would know that what I'm talking about and the risks that are involved are genuine. They can be verified and checked. The facts can be examined. You will find I'm 100% right on this. $8 billion souls on this planet. We all require food. You know, one of the main things that keeps life healthy on this planet is that magnetosphere. The last time this event occurred was 780,000 years ago, guys. You know, what are the odds of it occurring right now? For the last 120 years, the pole has been migrating across the northern hemisphere, and as it has done so, it has been gaining more ground and speeding up over that period of time. We've tracked it for the last coming now 5 years, and over the last 8-9 months we've seen even a slight increase now by around about 20% of increased speed, which is exactly what the experiment showed us would happen as it got close to the 40-degree mark and crossed that boundary between the strong and weak field lines. It accelerated. It accelerated slightly just before it got to the 40-degree mark. That's what we're seeing right now. We've seen, first of all, an acceleration since the 1900s to now. And then 8 months ago, we've seen a slight acceleration. Is it following the experiment? It appears so. We know we've got 45 miles left after we do the magnetic North Pole positioning in 3 days. I guarantee you we've covered more than 5 miles, so we've got around 45 miles left. That is exactly 9 months. If you do the math, it's 9 months. 45 miles divided by 5.1 miles of migration on average gives us exactly 9 months. The clock is ticking. What I want to do over the coming months is try and get out as many magnetometers around the globe as possible. We also want to put some muon detectors out there as well along with that. And we are hoping that people start stepping up to the mark now, because it's a real shame when we see 6,000 people view a video and then 4 or 5 people have actually chipped into what we're trying to do. Nobody else has got your back covered on this. Nobody else is relaying what we find to the general public in the same way as what we are. We are recording the data, and as it is recorded, we are truthfully relaying it back to you guys, and you can see that our archive from the period of time when we started using the Climatic system. You can see all our data open source on poleshiftnews.com. It's there for you to view, along with global magnetometer data that we've collected from various locations. It'd be nice to see a few more people step up to that mark, and as I say before, just think of the effort that we've gone through here at this observatory and the money that I've spent out of my own pocket. Some of you know that this is a real passion of mine, studying this event, because I realise how rare this event is, and it is an amazing opportunity to record it. And that's why when we built the Climatic system, we made sure we recorded it on a scale which would make other organisations raise their eyebrows. We record it on a resolution of every 3 seconds. We take a sample of the magnetic North Pole and its position and its field strength. Every 15 minutes from the various locations around the world where we've got our magnetometers, we record the intensity in that region. We're doing more than the bigger organisations, and yet these organisations have the availability of millions of pounds of funding. We have been dangling around in the dirt, unfortunately, for the last 5-6 years that we've had equipment in the field and here at the observatory recording this data. But nevertheless, whatever penny we raised, we spent it, and we got the biggest bang for the buck. And it was only through a few people with the initiative, the inclination and the willingness to come forward and support us with a bit of finance. because without them, without you guys that have been supporting this through the PayPal, through the Patreon, we wouldn't be here today. So you know what? Kudos to you guys, and kudos to our superstars who have taken it upon themselves to, put our equipment in their homes and record the data. You should know by now, if you're a new subscriber, you should know something. There's something different taking place on this YouTube channel. We're not just talking the talk, we're walking the walk. We have the equipment. We've got CO2 detectors, muon detectors. We've got a Trimag system. We've got magnetometers out there in the field. And we've got all that data that we've collected archived on a website, freely available to everybody, and it has never been mandatory for you to support this channel or the website or even my time or other people's times. But it is getting close now to the crunch point. We got 9 months left. It'd be great if a few more people could support us what we're doing now. It would be. And in 3 days time we're going to be doing the Trimag location of the magnetic North Pole. So we hope that you enjoy and you're willing to hang around a few more days for that, and we'll go through that data. And until then, guys, you really need to start thinking about, if you have not yet, putting some provisions away for your loved ones, because the time is running out, and your world governments are not telling you what really is going on. Link down there if you want to support what we do. Also, what I usually do, guys. You have an amazing day. As always, bye for now.